Wake up, Pittsburgh! I'm Matt Peiken, and this is your local newscast for Thursday, February 19th. Mayor O'Connor is moving ahead with plans to demolish 23 blighted properties in the Hilltop neighborhoods. So far, 3 have been torn down, with the rest scheduled for removal in areas such as Knoxville and Beltshoover. City Council member Bob Charland says abandoned homes generate more complaints from residents than any other issue and often drive families to leave the area. The Department of Permits, Licenses, and Inspections deem the properties serious safety hazards. The demolitions are intended to improve community safety and vitality and are funded through the city's capital budget. Read more about this in the Business Times. Abandoned homes have long been a challenge in North Braddock, with more than 1,000 blighted parcels costing millions to demolish. Instead of hiring outside companies, local leaders are investing in the community. $1 million in funding from Congresswoman Summer Lee will let the borough buy demolition equipment and train local workers to do cleanup. The effort fights blight and creates jobs that last beyond initial funding. County efforts also include new programs to hold neglectful property owners accountable. The plan aims to revive a community hit hard by decades of disinvestment. Read more about this at KDKA. A Brentwood man who called police to report a drunken stranger trying to force his way into his home was later arrested at a court hearing by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Macklem Escalante is an asylum seeker with a work permit and no criminal record. He had been subpoenaed to testify against Carlos Arantes Diaz, the man charged with threatening him. Instead, ICE took Escalante into custody. Local officials say arrests of crime victims can discourage people from reporting crimes, and they undermine public safety. Escalante is now detained alongside Diaz at an ICE facility. Read more about this in the Post-Gazette. Terry Lawson, the Woodland Hills School Board president, has resigned after charges she misused a municipal credit card while serving as Rankin's borough manager. She's accused of nearly $10,000 in unauthorized purchases at places including a marijuana dispensary and retail stores. The district will recognize its leadership at a board meeting this week. Meanwhile, questions about district spending continue, with calls for a state investigation into possible misuse of funds. A statement from the school board affirms its commitment to transparency and education quality. Read more about this in the Post-Gazette. And 3 Pittsburgh area museums earned top honors in USA Today's Reader's Choice Awards this year. The Children's Museum of Pittsburgh took the #1 spot for the first time. It was praised for its innovative hands-on exhibits. The Senator John Heinz History Center was also named the top history museum for the 3rd consecutive year. The Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in Washington was named the best small-town museum in the poll. The Children's Museum plans to celebrate on March 20th, Fred Rogers' birthday, with free admission and special events. Read more about this in the Business Times. Our free newsletter is a quick local news digest, essentially this newscast in written form. Subscribe at wakeuppit, that's pit.transistor.fm. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at wakeuppit, and please share this podcast with your friends who care about this city. I'm Matt Peiken. Thanks so much for starting your weekdays with Wake Up Pittsburgh.